The ATSB has released its final report into the derailment of a freight train and the subsequent collision with a coal train near Marmor in Queensland, which highlights the importance of systemic risk management by rolling stock operators. On the evening of the 29th of January 2023, a Pacific National freight train, which originated in Brisbane and destined for Townsville, was travelling west at about 100 km per hour towards the town of Marmor. As the train approached the Bills Road level crossing, the axle of the leading wheel set on the third bogie of the sixth wagon fractured, with both wheels derailing into the centre of the track. 8 wagons at the rear of the train separated and piled up on the level crossing, significantly damaging points, crossings, level crossing equipment, and overhead wiring stanchions. The freight train driver was initially unaware of the separation, but felt the train was not responding as expected, and then saw sparks in the locomotive's mirrors, so applied emergency braking. The front section of the freight train remained on the tracks, which came to a stop about 1.5 kilometres from the initial derailment location. A short time later, a loaded Horizon coal train was travelling in the opposite direction on a parallel track towards Marmor, destined for Gladstone. The driver of the coal train observed a cloud of dust ahead that had been generated by the wreckage of the derailed train and made an emergency brake application. This action by the driver prevented the train from encountering the main wreckage. However, as the coal train was in the process of coming to a stop, it passed the front section of the freight train and collided with a shipping container that had swung foul of the track, still attached to the front portion of the freight train. The lead locomotive sustained significant impact damage to the driver's side of the cab, with further damage down the side of the train. While there was substantial train and track infrastructure damage, fortunately there were no injuries to either of the train crews. ATSB Chief Commissioner Angus Mitchell said the appearance of fracture surfaces on the failed axle was consistent with fatigue crack growth, followed by an overstress fracture.
We found the fractured axle was very likely the result of impact damage sustained sometime before the accident. Now that damage in turn has initiated a fatigue crack, and that fatigue crack has propagated or really spread all the way across the axle until it's ultimately failed. The affected axle had a 154mm diameter centre section. Now we know axles conforming to this design do present a greater risk of failing as a result of what we'd call damage-initiated fatigue cracks, compared with alternate designs, which are also in service by this operator, which have an 11mm larger diameter centre section of 165mm.
Since the accident, Pacific National has phased out all axles matching this type. But the investigation found the operator's risk controls before the accident did not provide the best opportunity to address axle damage capable of initiating a crack, or to ensure axles with growing cracks were removed from service. In addition, the operator did not ensure its Asset and Infrastructure Services Group performed risk management activities in accordance with documented procedure, specifically regarding the use of risk registers and training. This limited the group's ability to systematically manage risks that fell within its scope.
On a positive note, the operator in this case has taken proactive safety action to address the safety issues that the report identified. Now, my hope is that investigations like this help remind all other operators to eliminate all of their safety risks, or at least minimise them so far as is reasonably practicable. And this is achieved through systematic risk management, where risks are identified, assessed, eliminated, or at the very least actively controlled.
The National Rail Regulator expects operators to use risk registers to monitor and review identified risks and the adequacy of control measures in place on an ongoing basis. Risk registers ensure that there is a mechanism promoting re-evaluation of a risk where controls have been implemented to ensure the controls are effective. You can read the final report on the ATSB's website by searching RO-2023-001 from the link in the description below or from the link in our bio.